So thank you for being here. I'm Praful. I'm the Chief Product Officer at Haptik, which what basically means that when salespeople cannot sell anything, they blame me. It's been a fascinating. I've got new to Haptik. I arrived only 6 months ago, and it's been crazy 6 months. I'm going to talk about three things today, right? I mean, it's probably the longest session. Please bear with me. I'm going to talk about conversational commerce. I think after just laid the foundation, you talked about what it is. I'm going to kind of go a bit deep into it. I'm going to talk about something called proactive messaging, which is one of the pillars of the conversational commerce, and obviously will become clear very soon. But the most exciting part, the third part is I'm super excited about, is that I'm going to showcase some of the hard work the product and engineering and sales and customer support teams have been doing over the last couple of quarters and developing some amazing tooling and products to make proactive messaging real. So those are the three parts of my talk. The first part, I'm afraid, will sound slightly like a lecture. Why? Because it is. So we are going to get into this whole conversational commerce thing. As Haptik said, let me pick up from there. The idea of conversational commerce has been around for centuries, right? Anytime you enter in today, like enter a mom and pop store, like is trying to sell something complicated, clothing, TV, cars, right? A clerk attaches themselves to you. They can look at you and figure out your purchasing power. They just customize the whole experience to you. Like it's very personal. It's very information rich. Like we have these features, we have that, and we can actually do this for you, or bring something out from the back. And it's what's really affirming. After spending money, you feel good about yourself, right? What we are trying to do is to take that same experience, that personal, information-rich, affirming experience, digitize it, and actually attach it to every single digital transaction happening in the world, right? That's our ambition. That's our mission. We want to help you, all our brand partners, to transition from a web and app economy to a conversational economy. And of course, we can't do it without our partners in the journey. So, any kind of commerce journey starts with some kind of a trigger point. A marketer creates that. The user responds to it, right? They click on an ad, they respond to a message, they sometimes just go to a website organically, and then eventually they become a customer, right? They complete a transaction. Conversational commerce is about making that leap from being a user maybe interested in your brand to being a customer. Is about making that leap through conversations. These conversations can happen through a live person. Like there's a lot of brands who do that today, right? When you start chatting, you're actually chatting with a live person. But I don't have to. You guys know this better than I do. This just doesn't scare. And that is where Haptik comes in. These conversations can happen through intelligent virtual agents or virtual sales agents. That these nomenclatures keep changing again. But really, an AI talking to you and getting the whole experience I talked about, getting you the information in a very personalized way, getting you the right kind of affirmation for your choices, and actually converting you from a user to a customer. Right? And we'll talk about a lot of investments. It's not just a bot. It's not just, you can't just go to kind of a standard bot flow and create this journey. A lot of investment has gone into that. We'll talk about. But this is one more thing. There's one more thing, right? Look, in a utopian world, everyone who clicks on an ad converts to a customer. Who can claim that their brands are working that way? I see a hand, but no, it's not. So it doesn't happen, right? People drop off, and you have to encourage them to come back to the journey again, right? How do you do that? You message them, you nudge them, you remind them that they were going to make a fabulous choice, and they somehow got distracted. Even when people are converting, even if someone is your customer, actually that's your most wonderful lead. All of us know this, right? They already have trusted your brand once. They are more likely to trust you again. We have to resell, we have to upsell, we have to, remind them for whatever, recurring purchase that's coming up. And that is why this whole idea of proactive messages becomes super important. It could be email, it could be, in early days, again, this is again not a new idea. Like, in early days, you would send these catalog messages or, subscription services through physical mail, right? But now it could be an email, an SMS, or a WhatsApp notification, which again is huge for us, or any kind of message, right? But when people talk about conversational commerce, like it sounds like a tongue twister, or it sounds like a very kind of an abstract concept. Okay, yeah, sure, we want to be conversational commerce. What does that mean? It's like, people were talking about big data in 2005. Like, nobody understood what that meant. But this is not as bad, right? It is not as bad because we have been working hard. As a company, we have been working hard and we've figured this out. I mean, we have already completed more than 1 million transactions this way, out of of course, 5 billion conversations. But hopefully that ratio will improve as we go forward. So this is how we think about conversational commerce. This is how I would encourage all of you to think about conversational commerce. These are the building blocks. By the way, for an AI company to stand here and talk about live agents is almost sounds humiliating, but no, the truth is that is a very important component as well. Because look, our automation rate is 84%, but that still means that 1 in 6 times we need help. Haptik, as Akrit talked about, is a complete conversational commerce platform. For each of these pillars, we have a lot of investment, as I said, made into growing out of just being a bot to being a complete market solution. Right? And some of you are thinking, okay, sure, what's new? Like there's tons of them out there already. Everything today, that's what frustrated us. That's why we had to build this. When we look around, everything out there today is meant for web or maybe mobile. Nobody's thinking conversation first. And that's what we want to achieve. That's where we think 100 million is just next year. That number is just going to grow like anything. As millennials and Gen Zers get more and more purchasing power, we all know this. This is like written on the wall almost. And that's where Haptik comes in. I won't go through everything, but really the support for languages, the conversational ad support, the Commerce Plus suite, again, we'll talk about all these things later, the ecosystem approach, and again, the smart agent chat. And all these are deliberate investments made to make sure that your brands are successful with conversational commerce. The thing I would double click on, and that's the second part of this thing, lecture over, guys. Thank you for bearing with me. Is proactive messaging. The thing that is kind of center of it all, right? Which is kind of a very critical to conversational commerce, and we clearly were very, very creative in naming it, and I'll talk about it. But before we go there, let me show you some examples of what we have already achieved using content. So conversational commerce is something that is coming to the digital world. It's something as the AI technology matures, it's kind of becoming more and more real. But it's not even just AI technology is not going to help it. There's a whole set of tooling that is required, and Haptik is at the center of it all. We are just building all of it. One more note before I move on. You saw that, look, when we talk about commerce, we're not talking about FMCG or CPG or something like that. Anything, any transaction, like we talked about, like credit, we talked about IPO application, we talked about like groceries. There's other examples around electronics, apparel. There's anything when it is transacted over internet is commerce, and conversational commerce can help it. Okay, second part, and I promise, lecture is over. Now it's fun stuff. Proactive messaging. Look, we as I said, very creative on naming it, and we actually named it proactive messaging. What it really means is proactive messaging. Proactively, before your customer forgets about you, before they kind of get sucked in, or even after that, when they're sucked into day-to-day rhythm and have their attention moves on after the 5 seconds they gave you, how do you reach out to them, build that relationship, or build on that relationship that you already have established, like build that trust, and then kind of just kind of try to get them back to your commerce journey, right? That's all proactive messaging is about. There's multiple channels you can do it on. There's multiple ways you can think about it, but that is the essence of the proactive messaging suite. And today, the rest of the day, you're mostly focused on, we are going to be talking about proactive messaging a lot. I think there's 1 or 2 sessions here or there, which is others, which are on other things. But the reason we're talking about proactive messaging is one of the most important pillars of commerce. Like every message you send actually multiplies the ROI on all your marketing investment, to be honest, but more so, especially more so for commerce. Some of you are, I'm sure, thinking, don't have to raise your hand, it's okay. Some of you are thinking that, what's new? Like there's so many MarTech tools who are actually kind of sending the messages out, right? This is again, you just go on Google and there's like 15 ads and then 15 more results after that, right? So what's new? What's new is that for the first time, somebody is thinking conversation first, right? Every message that you send using Haptik's proactive messaging is actually, it actually comes with the entire power of Haptik's conversational AI, right? All the automation rate, all the things we have learned from 5 billion conversations become real. And once your customer responds to you, it doesn't go into ether, it doesn't go to an expensive person. A bot actually responds them back very scalably, and instantly kind of a contact has become a relationship, right? And that's the real power over there. The other thing is just the combination of a conversation with other data points that you have creates incredible segmentation. Right? Like, look, Angela, many of you are marketers here, right? The segmentation based on demographic or psychographic elements, so that's not something new, right? We all do it. But imagine a whole third dimension to it, right? Imagine a whole third dimension which is based on their behavior. Did they go to your catalog and did not find anything interesting? Does that mean your product segment needs a rethink? Or maybe the pricing is not right. Maybe they selected a product and then did not act on it. Does that mean that they're comparison shopping? What do you do with them? What are the other things in their conversational behavior that can tell? It's like, think about that clerk, that the mom and pop store owner, right? They can look at you within 2 sentences, figure you out, and actually get you something that you really, really want. Can we do that digitally? And the answer is yes, and that's the powerful segmentation you get with proactive messaging. We'll get a bit deeper into it. And of course, look, we are not here to drive our automation rates. We are not here to drive the open rate or delivery rate or whatever rate that people look at it. We are not here to drive the number of messages or conversations. We are here to drive commerce. We are here so that you guys can use these tools, use conversational commerce, and actually make more money, right? And that's the whole different approach. Like most of the point solutions you see out there, somebody's optimizing your ad spend, somebody's optimizing your message spend, somebody's doing anything. We are thinking of it in a very comprehensive way. We are thinking at the whole pie and making sure that you are getting there. And again, proactive messaging is the center of it all. Why am I speaking about it today? And we were like talking about this is a quarterly event, and we were really kind of thinking about what should this hype focus on. It was actually pretty easy. Look, Diwali is coming up in a month or so, like something like that, a month or a week. For people who are watching in from US or non-India markets, Diwali is one of the biggest retail events in India. It's expected to go, that value is expected to grow about 30% this year. And another month, and there's Thanksgiving. Again, people who are not familiar with Thanksgiving is one of the biggest retail events in US. About $88 billion were transacted just last year. More will be so. I'm sure, like, look, this is a room full of marketers or like, MarTech companies. I'm sure you guys are thinking about it already. Like, I don't have to tell you. Like, you're thinking about like how to kind of drive those content. What is a Diwali Dhamaka? What is the Black Friday sales event? Like, what you're thinking about it, right? And that's why this is the right time to talk about proactive messaging, right? That's why it's the right time to talk about. To let us help you figure this out. Okay, that ends the second part. The lecture part is, I promise, completely over. Now is the time to really talk about the amazing stuff we have done. And I say amazing, I'm patting myself on the back, but really I do not do things. I just kind of find faults in them so that others can do it better. But the team has really come together and done some amazing stuff to make this whole idea of proactive messaging a reality for you. In some of the conversations, I speak to people, and this is so much jargon thrown out, like a conversation commerce, a proactive messaging, and like, at the end of the dhanda kaise hoga, right? How do you actually make it happen, right? And so the first thing we decided to invest in is tooling, right? I'm gonna show you what a one-time campaign is, and it's actually a misnomer. Like, actually, we want you to do this again and again. Like, this, I don't know why some programmer somewhere named it one-time campaign, and it stuck. So a one-time campaign is when you have a relationship with your users, you have their phone numbers or Insta handle or whatever channel you choose, and you just send them a campaign, right? Let's have a look quickly. To do this, just imagine, to do this, to have your brand send a message like this, like highly segmented, highly focused message like this, and to actually get all this thing, what do you think it takes, right? Actually nothing. To make the tooling for this, our product team actually went out to the local kind of corner store kind of guy. Right? We didn't talk to you guys. We did, but we didn't take the persona of you like very sophisticated teams and IT kind of experts and all that. No, we went to the local corner store guy who is completely focused, like acutely focused on ROI, who has 10,000 things to do every day, and who doesn't have time or tech savviness or bandwidth to even think about something. Right? And we built the tooling based on that guy's preferences. And that is why the tooling is as simple as kind of 1, 2, 3, 4. You just essentially follow step by step what kind of, we just get a template, and by the way, we get the template approval done via Meta. We get business set up on Meta, like all that. We are here to help you, like you're not on your own. but it really, is the kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of a process. You just create a message, and this can again be connected to the hyper segmentation I was talking about, and you basically can just send a campaign out within a matter of minutes. We have people doing it. They've been sending it out like millions of messages, and the programming is done by a matter of minutes. And that's the first thing. I mean, we were very excited about it because this adoption of proactive messaging has to be super easy. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Right? And similarly, let me show you one more example of ongoing campaigns. So the idea is, look, the one-time campaign was that, look, you want to start a journey, right? And you just send the first message and things go on from there. But many times the journey has already started, and you want to continue with that journey, either because they abandoned it somewhere, your customers, or they've completed it, but then you want to go even further. So that's what we call an ongoing campaign. That's what we're calling ongoing campaign. Very similar tooling. Very similar tooling. Basically, someone who has 2 minutes in their day, who has thought through what has to be sent, what not, can do it like just a 1, 2, 3, 4 based on an event or a condition that is met, and then you can do it. Now, keep in mind, this can be this segmentation can be demographic, psychographic, as well as behavioral, right? Because those events kind of define the behavior that these guys have to make. That is proactive messaging. That is what we have been working for the last couple of quarters, and that's now finally it's real. 2 more things I would quickly talk about. Again, these are like we developed probably, we have a feature list, about 67 features in there or some number like that. I'm not going to go into all of them, but like these 2 other features I would say they're super important. So far we have seen WhatsApp as the channel for proactive messaging. WhatsApp is a very big channel for us in India. As you know, WhatsApp is kind of the dominant messaging channel. But particularly for non-Indian markets, we are not restricted to WhatsApp anymore. And starting today, proactive messaging is actually available on SMS also. Not in India. India will come soon. There's some regulatory concern. In the US, it's done. We are selling it. People are using it already. Right, and that's where, like, again, Instagram is coming, Google Business Messages are coming. This is all this list of channels is coming from you. Like, we keep talking to you guys, and you keep telling us where your business is going, where your customers are going, and we keep adding it here. So in the next quarter, hopefully, I will be able to come back and announce that we are on Instagram, we are on Google Business Messages, and here are the people who are using it. But for now, we are on WhatsApp and on SMS. Last thing, analytics. Look, we debated whether we want to show this or not. This is amazing analytics, but it's nowhere near done. Right? The analytics is something that we take very, very seriously at Haptik. And so we just kind of wanted to make sure that we come to you, when we are really prepared and we have everything in place and every line has been rebooted and whatnot. But then I remembered a quote by Reid Hoffman: if you're not embarrassed by what you're launching it too late. We actually are not embarrassed by this. This is actually a very, very cool analytical set that we have put together, which essentially tells you how much money you're making on each message you're sending. Right? It essentially puts together your end-to-end conversation journey in a few dashboards and actually tells you that with proactive messaging, it kind of assures you that with proactive messaging you have not made the wrong choice and actually you're getting a lot out of it. So that's all I had for you. Look, I'll just kind of quickly recap. The conversational commerce is real. It is happening. We have done 1 million transactions. Others have done probably more. Like hundreds of millions of transactions will happen within the next few years. We can make it happen for your brand. It's not rocket science. It's not just a tongue twister. It's a real money-making tool. Please let us help you. Number 2, One of the important things about proactive messaging, and this is where we kind of closely work with our partners as well, is proactive messaging. For Conversational Commerce is proactive messaging, where kind of getting a deeper relationship with your customer become much easier and much more interesting. That thing is available on WhatsApp, in SMS. It is coming up in various other channels as well. But more importantly, the tooling we have done for this, that now is available to all of you. Please contact your customer success manager or the salesperson you're in touch with, or just contact me. The tooling that we have done makes it super easy for you to use and scale. But you don't have to trust me. You don't have to trust me, and in the next session, if you can invite Mukund, our amazing Chief Operating Officer, to come on the stage and kind of have a panel discussion with other players in the industry on how they think about proactive messaging and how they are thinking about using it.